All right, let's check another city in Canada here for plumbers. And what we're going to do today is we'll take a look at plumbers in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And we'll go ahead, and of course we've done the Google search here. And let's look to see who lands up on page 1 and check that out. So we wind up taking a look at page 1, and we see some ads at the top, which is very normal. And then we take a look in the maps, and we see we've got 3 that have lots of reviews, 575, 647, and almost 1,900 reviews. And with the Bright Local, it tends to analyze who's closest to the city center. And you can see they're kind of all closely grouped in here. Then we'll take a look at the organic. The Pleasant Plumbers are number 1. Then we got a directory site, plumbing site, an advertising site, Kijiji, then a plumbing site, and then the city itself, Wikipedia, Indeed for some jobs, and then some ads. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the top organic, and they happen to be the second in the maps, and take a look at their website. Okay, so we've got the Pleasant Plumber, and we can see what they have, the layout of their site. Let's just scroll down and check it out. Looks nice. They've got it, their services all divided up. They've got calls to action, ways to go ahead and contact them. They've got a video here, testimonials, Best in Winnipeg Award. They've got some blog posts here, the way that you can pay them, and then of course the footer with the About Us on it here. So all right, that's great. Well, let's go back up to the top here. And what we'll wind up doing is let's go ahead and look in Google Maps and take a look at where they are. So there they are in the city. We'll just kind of zoom out from there. And again, remember, this is what came from Bright Local. We're going to take a look at how they are across the entire city here in a moment. But let's go ahead. This is the Plumber extension, kind of shows us the categories that they're, they've got on their Google business profile, 3 in this case, plumber, drainage, and HVAC. And then we go ahead and we see their address. Surprisingly, they've got, lots of reviews here. That looks good. Okay, so we're going to come across here. Let's go ahead and do a basic audit for them. And we pop over and we look at the audit here. And these are the things that the GMB Everywhere is showing us. And it's always nice to take a look at, keep track of these things, go ahead and record this, whether it's your business or it's a competition, or in this case, we're looking at it, okay, what can we get from this particular company in Winnipeg what are they doing right? So we're going to take a look at what are they posting? What have they got for questions here? Then what we can do is we can take a look at, okay, what's being indexed, by Google, specifically in the last month or the last 6 months, so we can take a look at their content strategy. And then we'll analyze their traffic and in this one, we're going to go ahead and use, the Uber Suggest from Neil Patel. Then we can go down here, take a look at the schema they're using, take a look at their SEO, and then take a look at their technology stack and see if there's something in there that we can go ahead and use ourselves. So let's go ahead here right now. Let's check this out. All right, so in the last 6 months, they've had a charity page indexed. On the schema here, we can take a look at that it was, we got some breadcrumbs and a site search box. And we can go ahead here and monitor their rich results. If we want, let's skip over and do the SEO audit here. Looks like according to the Neil Patel Uber Suggest here, this again was the Pleasant Plumber here. Okay, so, and we've got, looks like it's good across the board here. We'll go to their technology here. It's always nice to take a look at what people are using here. Again, normal, what you would expect to find here is Google Analytics. and it's got a, the site tag on here. It's got Google Tag Manager, which is very normal. It's a WordPress site built with Elementor, and they're using Yoast. That's kind of nice to know. And they've got some Google Maps. You can see what version of WordPress they're running on here. You can scroll around, take a look at what else they have. Of course, they got the Google Remarketing tag here, using Cloudflare for their hosting. So you get some general ideas on what they're using here. It looks like they've got a very basic schema on here. So again, if you're competing against them, you get an idea what you can do, or if you're trying to model what they're doing, you can pick that up here as well. On their traffic analyzer, again, it's not perfect, but you get a good idea from the Ubersuggest what they have, how many keywords, not very many backlinks, which is surprising. So again, maybe if you're a competitor, you can go ahead and tackle them that way. The one thing that we're seeing here is from an SEO perspective, according to Ubersuggest, the volume here, again, it's always an approximation, but the position that they're showing is number 1, in this particular location here for them. So let's go ahead and skip over here. In the past month, nothing that's been indexed. We take a look at the questions. There's no questions, which is surprising because it definitely does help in your ranking. So if you're a competitor, maybe you should be asking some questions on your Google Business Profile. For posts, they've done a recent post in November, and then it was all the way back to February. And let's just take a look at what they're posting here on the drain smell. And yeah, clog drain, a few keywords in there, and goes to a call now, which is fine. So it looks like up until February, they had somebody doing some regular posting, and then they backed off, and then they popped in one for the charity. And surprisingly, on that organic page, there was the city of Winnipeg there, and we did a search for the actual company name. It showed up, which is nice. And we can take a look at that, and then you can find out in this case they actually have the owner of the company here. That's fantastic. All right, now let's go ahead. We're going to pause this, and then we're going to take a look at how they're doing across the entire city against the competitors. And let's just pause this and pop over there now. Now, using some software here, what we are doing is we're taking a look to see how the Pleasant Plumber would show up on a mobile search or even a desktop search for that matter if you were located in different parts of Winnipeg. So you can see the Pleasant Plumber does extremely well in the central part of Winnipeg and then up into the northwest. And otherwise, they're kind of drifting away from showing up on the Google Map search for sure, and possibly in organic. And then on the east side, they're not showing up at all. So, hey, there's no problem with that. Obviously, a successful company. But let's take a look at some of the competition to see how well they're doing in comparison, both in this central area, but also in different areas of Winnipeg, and then possibly use that to your advantage if you are a new business or a competing business in plumbing in Winnipeg. Now, the next company that was analyzed was ILV Plumbing, and it's always nice looking at companies that have a lot different profile. In this case, they had 50 reviews, 50, about 600 less than the Pleasant Plumber. But you can take a look at the domination that they have, that was just south of the city center, following this entire corridor here, which is, extremely well. They're doing extremely well. And then just starting to enter in to that map pack, as we call it here, going down into the southeast. Now, again, not nearly as strong, on the east side itself or, way up in the north. But as far as covering, a larger swath of Winnipeg, ILV Plumbing is doing an excellent job, especially with their 50 reviews. Now let's take a look at two other companies, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. Now from there we go to Vault Plumbing, All right, and they've got, 360, 370 reviews, and we can take a look at what they're doing as far as if they were showing up in the Google Maps search here. And you can see that on the southwest side, they're doing extremely well here, and on the west side of the city. And then, of course, not so much at all, when you're taking a look at the city center or on the east side. But again, just a nice look at how different companies do based on, what they're doing both on the Google Maps as far as optimization and ranking, and then on their organic search with their website itself. Let's take a look at one other company with a lot less reviews and how they're doing in comparison to the Pleasant Plumber. All right, I had the wrong map up the last time. I said that was Vault. The last one was Shorty Plumbing with 370 reviews. This is Vault. Now you'll notice that Vault is the only one that I've shown so far that is on the east side of Winnipeg. So their rankings here in green that would be showing up on whether it's a mobile phone, your laptop, or desktop are predominantly, just on the east side and southeast side of Winnipeg. But again, they've got about 600 less reviews and are still doing well, in portions of Winnipeg. So that's it for what we call the local rankings on the maps. Let's go back and take a look at what we've seen so far. Okay, we'll wrap this up in a comparison. ILV was that first one we took a look at with 50 reviews. And they have a website here that if you want to go take a look at it for a comparison to the Pleasant Plumbers, this is what they have for a site. All right. The next one was where I mistakenly made a mistake on the name, was Shorty's Plumbing. So if you can take a look at Shorty's Plumbing, we can pop over there and take a look at that website here in comparison. So you get an idea on, as far as what the website looks like and the amount of content and what its layout is. And then finally, we'll take a look at Vault, which was that last one. And they were a service area business with no ad here. And surprisingly, they don't even show a website here that, Google in this case is calling for a website to be added to the profile. But that doesn't mean they don't have a website. It just means that it hasn't been added to the actual Google business profile. So anyways, that's a wrap here. And just wanted to do a comparison to the Pleasant Plumber. And we didn't take a look at the Mr. Rooter or Rotor Rooter, who were two of the other highly rated ones in that bright local search. But anyways, that's a wrap. And again, a good place to start if you're in Winnipeg and looking at some of your competition on different ways that you can outrank them just by taking a look at some of these different attributes by using the different tools that you have available to you.